Narcissistic and Borderline Women Through the Red Pill Lens. My name is Jared Mello, and this is an episode of Mello Mentoring. Please do subscribe to my channel if you find videos about mental health, dating and relationships valuable, and my interview series, Everything Eccentric. Now, on to today's video. I think this is an under-talked about thing in the manosphere and the red pill community, but it's identifying and dealing with narcissistic and borderline women. They are both cluster B personality disorders, and a problem well stated is a problem half solved. And there was a great example of this I saw in a Corey Wayne video today, where I do not think he got the diagnosis correct. And the title of the video was, "I Knew It Was Too Good to Be True." And he had a viewer write him an email about an experience he just had with a woman. And the woman sounds exactly like a narcissist, but that's not what his take on it was. And so I'm going to explain my interpretation of that email, or at least from what I heard him say about it. So the guy writes to Corey and says he just had 2 months of bliss with a woman. No arguments, no fights, no shit tests, no nothing. And right off the bat, I would say that's a red flag right there. Because the only other relationship in my life that fit that description was from a narcissist. Because narcissists love bomb us. They mirror all of our likes and dislikes. And so that explains a lot as to why they were able to get along so well for a couple months without any fights, etc. It's easy when the narcissist is just love bombing us. So that's something to take note of. But the guy continues and says everything was going great until all of a sudden they're going to go on a weekend vacation and she drops a bomb on him that she's actually in an open relationship and her boyfriend lives in Spain. Now, the viewer, the guy who wrote the email, was mentioning how he thought it was very weird that the woman was saying this so calmly and collectly. And this also fits with the narcissistic profile because narcissists have no empathy. They really just do not care. And so she withheld the information that she had a boyfriend in Spain for all this time. So it's basically lying by omission. But here's the other thing. Chances are that guy in Spain doesn't know that he's in an open relationship and the woman's more than likely cheating. But let's go on with the guy's email. So then what happens is they get in a big fight, they go back and forth, and then what happens is they kind of make up a little bit, they have sex, and then they go on, and she opens up to him about what's going on in her life, about some of her insecurities and depression, etc. And he opens up to her about his mother. And again, the woman's fiddling on her phone, and it really upsets him. And then the woman also, she doesn't give him any, what the emailer describes as, didn't give him any empowerment on what to do about the situation. Meaning, the woman wasn't telling him she was going to leave the boyfriend in Spain for him. That's what's going on with that, it sounds like. And so Corey, he felt like the woman was falling in love with him, and he chastised the guy for having an emotional reaction and chewing the woman out. But here's the other thing. Narcissists are also extremely sensitive to criticism. So when the guy was criticizing her after the love bombing period's over, narcissists are really sensitive to it, and that explains why she was crying at that point. And then the woman says to him, "I knew it was too good to be true." And like every narcissist finds out, when they see the other person they're with is human, they always think the same thing. I knew it was too good to be true. And then they devalue or discard. And the viewer, the emailer, hadn't talked to the woman since. But here's the layout here that Corey missed. Once someone's a narcissist and you understand what you're dealing with, you cannot have a serious relationship with that person. Period. It shouldn't even be an LTR. The most it should be is just a plate that you casually date. That is it. Instead, Corey was talking about how, it's a red flag that she didn't tell you the truth about the boyfriend in Spain, but it's really up to you if you want to go back to her or not. And it's like, no. It should be nothing. If you identify the problem correctly, that the woman is a narcissist, then that's it. And the woman, also in the story, she mentions how she likes to travel a lot to relieve her depression. And considering she said she's in an open relationship that the guy may or may not know he's in, wouldn't you bet that she's probably finding new guys in all of the places she travels to and does the same routine with them and love bombs them? Now, Corey makes the mistake of assuming she is only telling one lie when she didn't tell about the boyfriend. But once you've lied about one thing, is it more likely that that's the only thing she's lying about? Or is it more likely that she's also lying about a lot of things? I say it's more likely she's lying about a lot of things. So chances are she's cheating on the boyfriend in Spain, probably love bombs and does this whole routine with new men all the time. And a narcissist does not fall in love. So what Corey thought was her falling in love was just a narcissist in her love bombing phase and just using some word salad and manipulation. And that is it. That's what's going on in that scenario. So narcissists, again, to recap, they love bomb. They mirror people's likes and dislikes, right? They can lie a lot. They will often have many dudes around, these narcissistic women, and they don't fall in love with any of them. A narcissist is not capable of love. That's why they're only a plate, only a casual sexual partner. That is it. And that's why it's critical to identify them properly, right? And so she fits the case profile of a narcissist. Love bombing, no empathy when she told him that she had a boyfriend, no empathy when she was listening to him about his mother, very sensitive to criticism when he was yelling at her, and open relationships. And like Corey was thinking, oh, she was probably going to be with you if you just kept her cool. But it's like, no, she didn't say she was going to leave her boyfriend in Spain. She didn't mention it at all because she was probably looking forward to seeing her boyfriend in Spain too. Again, because a narcissist needs supply. They want as many dudes as they can to be giving them as much love and admiration as they can. That's why she was loving it so much in the love bombing period, and that's why she said, I knew it was too good to be true. Because, boom, once a conflict happens, the narcissist can't see you in the same way again. And they'll do their routine, devalue, discard. Now, that's the analysis of a narcissist, right? You gotta figure this stuff out. You gotta know what you're dealing with. And never make a narcissist the mother of your children. And never get into a committed relationship with a narcissist, because narcissists don't have committed relationships. All of their relationships are open relationships, and the boyfriends just may or may not know it. But all of their relationships are open, and they lie about many things. No empathy, love bombing, gaslighting, traveling all around. Those are all the same things. The woman that I went out with, who is a narcissist, that's what she did. Now on to borderlines. Borderlines are easier to spot out, and that's why I didn't mention them as much, but they are easier to spot out. Many times the women know that they have borderline. And again, the same rules apply though. Only a plate, and only if she is not going to take from your life with her negativity and depression. And that's a big if, because they often will. They'll often cause a lot of drama and a lot of suffering and pain for everyone around them, including themselves, because they often cannot do what's best for themselves. They don't know how to go to DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. They often act like a victim. They're extremely depressed. They'll have suicidal idealizations. They'll self-harm. A lot of drug and alcohol abuse. Splitting, all black and white thinking. These are all the hallmarks of a borderline woman. She'll emphasize a man's weaknesses. I went out with a borderline woman once and I messed up making a pancake. That was a cause of a split. Boom, done. And that was a time when we didn't talk again for weeks to months. This is what happens with cluster B pathology. We cannot overcome a a personality disorder with game. And all the red pill lens will do for us is help us recognize what we're dealing with so we keep our feelings in check. And know to never catch feelings for narcissistic or borderline women because it will only bring us pain. I truly believe narcissistic and borderline women bring a lot of men to discover the red pill because they've done these things to them. They've hurt them. And so the narcissistic woman, man, they are trickier because in the love bombing stage, they seem normal. It's harder to detect because it's just like the emailer to Corey Wayne said. It's just fun. No drama. It seems like it works in a way that no previous relationships had. And that's exactly my experience too with a narcissistic woman. No drama. Just seems like it works. Very collaborative. Give and take. And that's all true until the narcissistic woman sees the man as human. Then it's over. Then it begins to devalue. Then it begins the discard. And the fact that she had a boyfriend in Spain, the narcissistic woman I went out with, had a boyfriend in jail that she eventually married. And then they're already broken up again, I saw. And so it's like, this is what they do. A narcissist can never be satisfied, and they'll often have many sexual partners at a time, and they will never love any of them. Period. They might think they do, but they don't. The borderline woman, she may only try to love one man at a time, but the second you displease her, the second that something goes wrong, she'll hate you, and she won't talk to you anymore, and she'll probably go run off and get with the first guy she sees. This is just what they do. But this is important to identify and to recognize, because like I said before, a problem well stated is a problem half solved. Cluster B pathology is nothing to mess around with. The narcissistic woman, if you can just keep her as a friends and benefits and keep your feelings out of it, and you have to keep your feelings out of it, she could be there for a while. As long as you do not expect anything from her, as long as you don't want to rely on her for anything, you can have her as a plate. Maybe even long term. But you cannot have an intimate relationship with her. You cannot get too close. The borderline woman, I would say, chances are she's going to take more than she gives. So I wouldn't even recommend having a borderline girl as even a plate. Once you've identified they're borderline, next them, go spin more plates. So that's my analysis of cluster B, narcissistic and borderline women through the red pill lens. Please let me know if you think I have forgotten anything, and let me know what you think about this video. Again, thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.